Hey yo, Cup of Joe here with another gear ability video for the Nautilus. Normally I make these videos for specific weapon variants, but the builds I use for the two different versions of the Nautilus aren't really that different, so I'm combining them both into one video today. Let's get right into the abilities I recommend for this weapon. The first thing, and in my opinion the most important thing to have in the build, is swim speed. At least 2 mains worth. The Nautilus has the unique ability to hold its charge while submerged, and it can hold it for pretty long. Having a lot of swim speed will greatly increase the extra reach that this weapon gets out of that ability. With 2 mains of swim speed, you can swim a distance of 8 lines while holding a charge. For your own fully optimized builds, you may want to use slightly less than 2 mains worth of swim speed just to fit 1 or 2 more subs of something else, but more on that at the end of the video. Next, I like to have at least 1 main or 3 subs of run speed. Never mind on run speed, turns out it actually doesn't do much. Check this out here. Over the course of a full burst, the extra distance I traveled was like less than the width of a squid. A small amount of run speed can have a significant impact when running at full speed because of the way a percentage increase works, and moving while charging is so slow that even a small increase makes a noticeable difference. But when it comes to running while shooting, it would take much more run speed to get something that might actually make the difference in helping you survive. There are other gear abilities that I think are much more worth the slots on the Nautilus because they enable it to go for big risky plays where run speed isn't what will save you anyway. I'm going to recommend taking no run speed at all, but if you still think it's worth it, then I say just use 1 or 2 subs. I will note that if you're using the inkjet version of the Nautilus, then having run speed will make you move faster while using the special, so there's that. I always like to have at least 2 subs of ink resistance on splatling weapons so that if I step in enemy ink while shooting or charging, I'll still have some movement speed. This weapon's specific set of abilities does make it so that it's a lot less likely to actually end up stepping in enemy ink, so you could take the ink resistance out of this build if you really wanted to, but you have to just consider whether or not it's worth it to have that ink resistance at least as a counter to 99.9 damage weapons. Having just 1 sub of Special Saber provides great value, especially on this weapon, which can sometimes end up in sticky situations. Baller especially is a special which you will be saving as a get out of jail free card when you're caught out of position. So if something goes wrong and you end up getting splatted during the animation when you're trying to activate Baller, you won't lose as much of your special charge. Same goes for when you die while using Inkjet, but you should be using Inkjet in much safer ways compared to Baller anyway, so feel free to swap this out if you're confident in your ability not to die with Inkjet. In Rainmaker, this weapon is a perfect Rainmaker carrier because of all the swim speed that you'll be using, so I would definitely recommend using Special Saber no matter what in that mode so that when you die with the Rainmaker you get to keep more of your special charge. And now I will explain to you why I think main Powerup is a very good ability on the Nautilus and worth investing 1 main and 1 sub of into your build. For the Nautilus, main Powerup increases the duration of your bursts. The amount I have recommended will give you 4 extra shots in a full burst. Having just 1 main of main Powerup will give you 3 extra shots in a burst, and having 1 main and 3 subs will give you 5 extra shots in a burst. That's up from the base 27 shots in a burst with no main Powerup. This may seem insignificant, but the Nautilus's ability to recharge while firing and save even a partial charge while submerged makes it so that this weapon, more than any other, can really make sure that every shot fired is one that matters. You can get a few kills and paint a few paths for yourself all on 1 burst if you play your cards right. So having those extra few shots at the end of the burst can actually be a lot more important than you think. And finally, I like having some quick super jump on this weapon because once again, you may find yourself in sticky situations with this weapon, and if you don't have a special ready, then your only chance of survival might be to super jump out. So the 2 subs of quick super jump are to help with that. This build right here I think is perfect for the Nautilus 47 with point sensor and Baller. As I stated before, you should not actually be using run speed with this weapon in my opinion, so instead I would say maybe try 2 extra subs of main power up to get 1 extra shot in the burst, and maybe 1 sub of quick super jump just to help you get out of bad situations even more. Or if you wanted to, I think that there is some potential with this weapon to do something good with thermal ink. You could replace that run speed with thermal ink because you're mostly going to be poking at people and getting small amounts of damage on them, and then you're going to have thermal ink on them, so you'll know when to kind of play around corners to get people. For the Nautilus 79 with suction bombs and inkjet, I think that it's really worth it to put sub power up into your build, especially now that I don't recommend run speed. There's definitely room for some sub power up. That will make it so that you can throw your suction bomb just a little bit further. This weapon is all about slipping in and out of battle, poking at your enemies, trying to stay safe, and having sub power up is going to make it so that your bomb throwing option is just a little bit stronger, a little bit safer. With no sub power up, you'll throw a suction bomb at about the same distance that you can fire your main weapon. So if you have some sub power up, then you'll throw it a little bit further, which allows you to deal with longer range threats too. Here's what my build looks like for the Nautilus 79 with sub power up. And there you have it, folks, my build for both versions of the Nautilus. What I really like about this build is that there's a lot of wiggle room to it. You could definitely take out 1 sub of swim speed, or really 1 sub of anything, and replace it with more of something else that you want. So if you want more quick super jump, more ink resistance, more main power up, you can definitely find some space for that in this build. So go nuts trying different stuff out, and let me know what you come up with. Have fun out there, and thanks for watching. I'll see ya in the next one.